All right, guys, good evening. Good evening. Welcome aboard to our weekly video. This is our weekly market recap video. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of GAR Capital. Glad to be with you this evening and every weekend, Sunday, July 7th, 2024. We do this every Sunday right around the evening time. Turn on notifications on our YouTube channel. If you are on our Discord server, it's already tagged to you every time we do it. We also have a features video for our features members as well. That's already been posted by Nick. So thank you to him. Working on a couple things this weekend. The top 10 stocks of 2024. We revisited that. I'm going to go ahead and go over it quickly. I will get a nice image showing you exactly how it did. But a couple of names again, if you just want to write this down, be a little easier. Let me see if I can get it. Nick is the one who did the information for me. Microsoft was one of the top 10 stocks of 2024. That's up 24%. Palantir, 58.5%. IWM is up 0.61%. PFE, which is Pfizer, up 0.39%. Amazon up nearly 32%. TLT down 4.5%. JPM up 22%. XHB, which is the building housing, up 2.71%. And Target up 3.73 year to date. Bitcoin, when we showed the top 10 stocks of 2024, again, I'm just going to read it quickly. We're going to put a picture up, I promise. It'll be on Instagram, it'll be on the blog. But again, I just want to read it quickly. 44,915 is where it was. Last we checked when we were doing the calculations, 56,725. So, yeah, up $12,000 really since that. And that's not even the highs. Remember, we got to what, 69 on Bitcoin. So, and a little bit of a pullback. We talked about that. I'm going to talk about that here today. So again, I just want to give you that information. Again, Instagram post and the blog will show the top 10 stocks of 2024 revisited, and we'll make a nice little thing for you guys. So just wanted to say that. Investment Club, I'm working on the spreadsheet. My apologies. It's taken a while. Nick is working on that for me as well. That's coming up. So that'll be sent out this week. Let's go ahead and get started on the spreadsheet in terms of the week. Options trading. 4 for 4 this week. Back to the winning ways. Great to see it. July 19 expires is kind of what we've been sticking with. Amazon, Palantir, Apple, Palantir. Like we said last week's videos, after a very tough June, we want to get off on the right point. The first 2 weeks of July are bullish. We said we're going to go back to basics, sticking with tech. Palantir is not mega cap tech, not yet. But Amazon and Apple are. So we've been hitting what's been working. Apple's done well. If you had Tesla runners, that thing soared after their deliveries numbers. We're going to look at that as well. We got the Watchlist up for you guys. So again, excellent work. But this is not, I'm not going to celebrate this. If you're new, you're loving it. If you've been with us for a minute. So this is a nice return to what we're used to. The idea is to build as much streaks as possible so we can make the second half of the year a lot better than the first. Great first half of the year. Really not including June. June was just a tough one. But we'll bounce back with July, seasonally strong, as we know, and moving forward. So good stuff. 4 for 4. Got some trades open, as we know. So let's kind of get to the week. Let's go to our Discord server. Again, 4 for 4, like I talked about. Yeah, the watches and charts here. Did a couple things for you guys. You can watch that at your own leisure. So last week's watch list, here's the stocks I am watching for the week. Let's start with Palantir. I know, Palantir, right? Been hitting that like crazy. I talked about this last week as well. 27.5. That's the next level we're looking for. That is a clean breakout. And we do have a gap to fill here on the weekly at 31.25. So 27.5 is what we're looking to break. If we do 28 calls, 28.5 calls, I sent a UOA, unusual options activity, on the watches and charts to our members this past week. Let me see if I can find it. Palantir, September 20th, 31 calls up 21K in volume. That's what I saw. That's pretty much targeting that gap fill on the stretched pattern here. Really since what, 2020? So about 4 years. That's your 4-year gap fill. I think we get there. Absolutely. That would be my 12-month price target on the stock if we're looking to it. So by next July, I fully believe that we'll get to 31. I might be a little conservative there, but it is a breakout. 27.5 is what we're looking for. And if we do 28s, 28.5s, 29s, 30s, you name it. 30s are a UOA, unusual options activity, again, with that strong volume. So, I mean, look at the hourly chart. It's breaking out in the hourly. It's breaking out on the daily, even from this highs from March. Looks like it's coming up. We just need 20 more cents or a quarter more, and we'll get there. No earnings risk for it yet, even though earnings season is about to begin. But Palantir, it would be a couple of weeks away from now. Next here is AMD. This is one I've been getting a lot of questions for. This is where one of the stocks that hurt us this past June with one of the losses with Citibank and AMD, and now they're back on the watch list. I know. I like pain, obviously. 174.62. That's really your level for a breakout. 175. If we can close above 175 for the day, I want a session close, a daily candle, not tag 175 and pull back. We need to stay above the 100. So I want to find that settlement candle. The last time I didn't do that was with Nike and we got hurt. And we were at 28% and we fell below the 100. So again, want to be careful with this name. Let's make sure we get that confirmation of that break. And then we can target 185. 180s would be great, but 185s are probably going to be the cheaper option here. I think I like AMD. And again, AMD, I've been saying it's going to play catch up, but it's just been chopped. Yes, it had a last nice couple of days. No, don't get me wrong. Just like Tesla, but AMD needs to show us a little more, and I think it does. I still like AMD long, but it needs to break 175. Now, 174.62, opens my eyes, but 175, closing settling at 175 for me is going to be paramount for us to go long. I just don't want to get chopped up here, guys. I really don't. AMD has been mean to us, at least lately. Citibank. Financials, and I've been banging the table on financials. JPM hit all-time highs. Bank of America finally got above 40. Been saying that forever. And guess what? It rejected 41.20. So it's kind of like so frustrating. It rejected that trend line on BAC. Interesting. This wasn't part of my watch list, but look at that. Not the best. They do not report this week. That's JPM reports, Wells Fargo, and Citi. So with that being said, that trend line holding up. Bank of America hitting some resistance here. Citibank on the weekly, you could see that 64.04 level is what I put, and nice rejection as well. So we want 65 to confirm, 65, and settle above 65. So 67.24 is the next target. If we have the 65s, you could play the 66, 67s. Not for earnings. Maybe you want to buy some time. Maybe you want to buy time for the Fed cut that's possibly going to happen in September. So let's look for some September options. I'm going to keep my eye out on some unusual options activity, maybe a spike in call volume for Citibank on this play breakout. Then that would probably give me a little more confidence in it. But even higher volume doesn't confirm anything. So let's keep it, safe. Let's make sure 65 cracks and stays there, 75 cents more, and based on the ask. And if we get there, then we can target 67. I know I said back to basics, just sticking with tech, but there are just some setups to me that just look really great. So I think with that being said, let's just buy some time on this one so we don't have earnings risk, if anything. Maybe play the run up. I think we have plenty of options, but Citibank is definitely on the watch list. So let's see how we're looking for the week. Earnings calendar, like I was saying. Delta reports on Thursday. Delta is a name that's been pretty weak. We'll take a look at that here in a second. Wells Fargo, JPM, and Citi. So that's Friday. So we're starting to get that next cycle. So Citibank, we just talked about. Let's take a look at DAL. A little bit tough. You could say, what, double top maybe? Good. Oh, let me not do that. Let's do the trend line. So yeah, I've seen this before. Could this be a start of something where it's just a possible double top, right? So let's let the daily be kind of our guide. We're still above the 200-day, but that could be a target. So this is where it gets a little difficult. You're below the 100-day. If we get below 45, who's down to short delta? Right to 42, right? So again, the only thing in my opinion that would boost this stock up would be some kind of either buybacks. I'm not really sure. But the good news with Delta is that they don't have the Boeing 737 MAX exposure, the way other airlines like Southwest Airlines have been hammered. So Delta has been a name that's been kind of holding up nice. But again, we know how it is. It's a consumer discretionary airlines, travel, all that good stuff. Leisure is not exactly something you have to do. So again, we just hit a 52-week high rather recently. I think it was back in May, and then pulled back from there about a good $7. So 45.02. What's interesting here is that being below the 100-day, below 45, I want to start targeting that 200-day moving average at 42.34. But the options market is going to tell me the key. If there's not going to be a lot of options volume, then yeah, I'm going to kind of skip it, but I'm going to watch that very carefully. Masterclass guys, might be a little bit higher risk. We may trade this one together. We did the Palantir UOA together. So yes, masterclass does get a little riskier trades. The reason I do that is not to piss anyone off. It's really because the masterclass guys have been with us so long and we know them on a personal level. I mean, we speak to them, our teachers. So they have a not higher risk tolerance, but they kind of understand a little more. The people that join the options group, again, we don't have that kind of one-on-one relationship. Well, not yet, unless you become a student. We'll talk on the chat here and there, but the idea is to make the option signals as easy as possible, where it's the least amount of stress as possible. The master class is a little more gun ho, really looking between the lines, really going for it. We hit Apple last week, masterclass and I, two more times. So again, and it doesn't come without loss. I mean, yes, we gotten hit a couple times, absolutely. But you could see Apple with those 220s, 225s as well. I mean, we were doing it. So Palantir is what we got in as well. You could see in the spreadsheet, yes, Masterclass does take some L's, but they also get some little extra. So be on the lookout for possible DAL if we trade it, Masterclass students. You can always ask your teachers, but any questions, you can always tag me on the Masterclass chat. But with that being said, let's go and move on to Wells Fargo because they also report earnings on Friday. A little bit of a consolidation here. I can't say anything here is extremely salivating, let's just say. Right, the 50-day moving average. Personally, I'm going to skip Wells Fargo. I have no idea what's going to happen there. JPM hit a new all-time high at 210. I love JPM. I love Jamie Dimon. Um, when it comes to these banks, I mean, we're going to be beholden to the earnings. I think it's one you could skip. If you're someone that wants to buy the dip on JPM, see if you get a big pullback or so. If you get to the 190s, I would say 180. That gets to your low from April. Again, worst case scenario, that's probably a good opportunity to buy the dip on a great, great bank, one of the best in the business, JPM Morgan Chase. And let's go and take a look now at our week. All right. Nothing on Monday in terms of economic data. Futures are red right now, down about 65 points. Nasdaq's about 30. Powell's going to testify before Congress. So is Secretary Yellen. That will be on Tuesday at 10 a.m. Who knows who's going to say? Fed Chair Powell testifies as well in front of Congress. 10-year bond auction at 1 p.m. That's going to be important. We have inflation week, CPI, coming out on Thursday. I don't think it's such a big deal as we're making it out to be anyways. The goal is we're trying to get below 2%. I think at this point, the September rate cuts are pretty much baked in. We were looking like that's kind of how the market is kind of rallying, is that we're already expecting that rate cut. Inflation is softening, guys. It's just what it is. And it's starting to get lower and lower. So we'll see if the Fed, I don't know if the Fed will even use the CPI as anything. The PCE number was strong. So I don't expect a big move on CPI if that's what you're kind of banking on. I think this week is just another seasonal strong week. I think you're buying into CPI, if anything, you're staying long, and stocks will move higher Thursday and Friday based on the, what do we have here? This is the almanac. Thursday and Friday are bullish days. The last week was 3 bullish days, and they were all right. Hey, right? Broken clock, right twice a day. Scenario, I mean, I'm bullish on it just based on seasonality. The first 2 weeks of July are always the strongest. I think you're kind of staying long really to the 19th of July, which is the OPEX date. And that's options expiry. So kind of looking at buying all dips at this point, not every dip, but meaningful ones. And just kind of keeping the risk in check, keeping the risk where you are. And this kind of acceleration momentum has been kind of choppy depending on the name, like Tesla, for example. Let's look at it together. Yeah, you don't get it all one shot. You need some kind of catalyst. CPI might do it for us, but you could see Tesla again. What a break out of this channel. We were talking about this here since 140, but an absolute monster move. 260 might be where it runs out of gas. I still expect this gap to be filled. The question is when. That's 290. What would help Tesla would be lowering interest rates. 100%. Get a rate cut. Tesla's going to be better off. They could borrow money cheaper, even though they have it, but they can offer interest rates for their cars at a cheaper rate. So that'll be helpful for them. Obviously, SpaceX and other stuff obviously could be a boom to Tesla. I don't know if there's any kind of you know way they combine both. But I guess it's kind of Elon Inc. in a sense. So you're kind of bullish on that. 260 again. Let's see if we get there. If 260 can get us there, I'm looking for a possible pullback again. Overbought 231.50. That's your daily gap. If we can get there again, if it pulled back here on Tesla, you're pretty much looking at this trend line here as support. So I would say stay patient on Tesla unless you get above 260, and then God help us, we'll get to 280 and then 290. I think that's I think everyone could be cool with that. Any Tesla shareholder above 260 would be nice. Absolutely. So that's where we are for the week. Apple monster move, Palantir, Amazon. We have Amazon calls. It closed right at 200, guys. I still expect us to move higher. Nothing has really changed here. Uh, yeah, boom, looking great. So I'm excited for the week to come. I hope that we can continue the streak of 4 for 4, and hope everyone has a great evening. And go Colombia! What a great win, beating Panama. Let's see if we can make it happen on Tuesday. Whew, been a great weekend in terms of sports, so I'm excited for it. Hopefully, I could take this momentum of excitement into the stock market. I hope to see you guys tomorrow. Have a great rest of your evening, all. Cheers.